We're going to take a look at how to use the Type tool in Photoshop. Go to Photoshop and open a new file by going to File menu, New, or Command N. This one we're going to change the measurement to inches, and I'm going to set my width to 7 by 5. This is something I want to print, so I will set the resolution to 300 pixels per inch. And I will set the color mode to CMYK because, again, I'm wanting to print it. So the colors I see on my screen need to be able to come out on my printer. And then click OK. We need the Type tools available, so whenever you're working extensively with Type, it's useful to come up to the top control bar, and over on the right is a drop down that you can click on and choose a workspace. Now it defaults to Essentials when you first open Photoshop the very first time, but then you can click and drag down to Typography, and it will arrange all of your panels so that you have the paragraph and the character panels up front. Now we'll need those two and your layers panel, so anything else you can just double click on to make it hide or even close it out. The Type tool is the capital letter T button that's about 2/3 in the bottom quarter of your tool panel. So grab that. There's a couple different places that you can choose what font you're using and the size. What we have here is at the top we have the tool control bar, and that's the one that changes depending on what tool we have. And if we have the Type tool, it will show us the main features that people tend to change the most. And all of these features over here can be found in the paragraph and character panels, but these panels have more options. So we just want those open for now, and eventually we'll get through all of those options over the next lesson or so. Let's begin by choosing a font. You can do that by clicking on this drop down that's on the left and choosing a font that's on your computer. I'm going to pick one that's nice and big and fat so you can see what's going on. And then the next window over you should be able to change is the size of the font. Font sizes are measured in points, so that's what the PT stands for. I'm going to set mine at about 40 just so you can see what's going on. The next drop down I would recommend setting to either strong or smooth. That affects the edge quality of the words. If you set it to none or sharp, the edge qualities might look a little bit jaggedy. And then we have alignment and color. So choose a color by clicking on this that you know you'll be able to see. The color picker in Photoshop looks like this regardless of what tool you're using, and you can click out here and drag around to choose a new color, and you'll see the new color appearing up here. If you get one of these little things flashing at you, see how that appears? It just means that that color won't be able to print, so this is an out of gamut area. We want colors that will print the way they look on the screen. It's just a good idea to always work so that your screen looks like what's going to print out. To get the color that's closest to that will print out, I'm going to click on that little square and it will bounce it over. Now I can leave it there or change it to something else. I'm going to show you how to change the overall color of this. This rainbow bar here has a little arrow. These are sliders in Photoshop, and if you click and drag on those, it will take that color up to something else. So once you've found a place that you like and a color that you like, go ahead and click OK, and we can begin typing. So I have my alignment here in the top set to left align. What that means is if I come out here on my canvas and click once when I start typing, it will go from left to right, and if I push return, what will happen is it will go down another line and I can continue typing. When I want to finish typing, I need to tell it I'm done typing. So on my Mac, what I do is I push the Enter key because I've got one of these full big keyboards. If you don't have an Enter key, then push Command Return, and that will finalize the type. If you look over in your layers box, you've got a new layer and it's indicated by a T. This is an editable type layer, and you can continue to change this type at any time. You can do that a couple of ways. You can actually double click on the T here in the Layers panel and it will highlight everything. Or if I hit Enter to again finalize, I can come out here with my Type tool and click anywhere and begin typing. That is called the point and click way of using Type. Now I'm going to change my font to something more readable, so I'm just going to go with good old-fashioned Times New Roman. And yours probably doesn't have this set, but mine was actually set to double caps, which is a button over here in Character. And I'm going to fix that there. There we go. Okay. The second way of doing type is to do paragraph type. You can create a paragraph box by clicking and dragging, and you'll notice this dotted line appearing. So make the box however big you want to fill with copy. And now, when you type, you don't need to hit return to go down a line and then push enter to finalize. Now, yours probably is not doing this little funkiness with the type. That is called leading, which is the space between lines, and I have a setting over here in the Character panel that looks like two A's stacked on top of each other, and at some point while I've been working that's gotten changed and I'm going to set it to auto. So if your type is ever doing something funky like that, take a look around at some of the windows and see if they have an auto setting that you can put the type back to. The nice thing about paragraph type is if I decide that I want to change the font size, for example, so I'm going to come up here and hit 20, it will automatically adjust what words are on what line, whereas if I had just clicked and typed, so and now when you type you can go on and on, it will just keep going on and on and on. It will go clear off the screen. So that's the difference between point and click and paragraph type. So what if I wanted to change all of these at once to a different font? Take a look at your Layers panel. Each one of these is a layer. You can affect whichever one is blue. That means that is the current active layer. So if I turn the eyeball off and on, you can see which one I'm looking at. And there's that one and that one. But I want to change, let's say, the color on all of these at once. If you hold down Command, you can click any other layer and it will add it to your active layers. And you can keep Command down and click again and get all of your layers. The other option is to click on one and hold Shift and click on the top one, and that will just get everything in between. And that's true for any layers, not just type layers. Once they're all selected, we can change the color. And again, let me just point out that these features over here are also all found over here. This is just a condensed version. So now they're blue. You can change the font as well from this point. I'll show you my favorite trick. Yes, you can come here and scroll if you'd like, but you can actually highlight this little box up here and then use your arrow keys. Oh, my computer is thinking hard about this type. Makes me wonder what I've got going on in the background. So that changes all of the type at once. To go off of all three layers, all you have to do is just click on the one that you want to affect just that one. So this sometimes is a better way to preview what your fonts look like than trying to just scroll down and look at that little tiny itty bitty preview. That is the basic font tool. Let's get rid of these layers. To get rid of a layer, you can be on it and just click the trash button. I'm going to say yes. You can also select multiple layers at once and click the trash, or even just drag them down to the trash. So you'll find as we work through this, there's just lots of ways to do stuff in Photoshop. Take a look at your type tool over in the toolbar. you'll notice that it's got a little white arrow down in the bottom right. If you click and hold, you'll notice there are actually more tools there. So most of these tools in the toolbar have extra tools docked with them. The one that we most commonly use is the horizontal type tool. There is a vertical type tool. I will show it to you. I don't love it, but I will show it to you. If you click, it will type like this. I would highly discourage you from ever using this feature, mostly because it's hard to read, and unless there's something really specific that you need it for, I would definitely do anything else instead of typing with this vertical tool. So let's change this back to the horizontal type tool and leave it at that. As far as I know, I don't think there's a way to just convert this to the side, and so I'm just going to delete that. Click OK, yes. So super quick refresher, type tool. If you want the shortcut, it is the letter T. The tool control bar will pull up all the options. The paragraph and character panels are what you need to do typography. You can access those through the window menu, or you can change the workspace to typography. There is single click typing, and you have to push Command Return or Enter to finish typing. And then there's paragraph typing, which is click and drag, and then when you type, it will automatically go down a line. And I think I already showed you this, but I'm going to say it again just in case. You can resize this box while you're in it by clicking on one of these little corners, and then it will change how those words are laid out. When you're done, push Enter.